Yeah, okay. The syllabus and also under the assignments for each week, it'll tell you and it'll have the title of that book that you need to get from Ms. Keisha.
Yes, sir. I went into the syllabus when you said that to get the title. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're having trouble hearing me?
No, sir, I can hear you better now.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
so, so that's going to be part of the readings. Also, uh, assignments, there will be assignments in a couple of weeks, it'll start. I have books on reserve in the library. They were books that are only a part of the book that's required for your reading, and they're hard to get. So instead of trying to have you buy them or try to get them for you, I just have a copy of them in the library. And so each week you'll need to get to the library, and with Trent, I'll have to figure out how to get something to you about that. But the rest of you, you go in and Mr. Chalk will have those book and he tell you where to find them. And the assignments will be on the assignment page. There's also a copy of the class schedule connected with those books. There's about 5 of them. Um, so that will be additional readings in addition to the pen book. Questions about that?
No, sir.
Um,
I'm sorry, Dr. Sawyer, excuse
yes,
me.
go ahead.
The pen and pen book, is that the one I need to pick up from Keisha, or is that one in the library?
The pen and pudding book is with Keisha. I've got
Okay,
one of those for everybody on loan.
okay, because I'm waiting for her to send me an email when I can
Right.
catch her to get the book.
She's not there all the time, so you have
No,
to you have to work it that way. Um, all right, that's the stuff about the readings. We'll talk more about them, but it's just kind of a heads up about that right away. Um, this class was the crazy way they scheduled classes this spring was they only assigned basically one meeting time for a class. And if the professor wants more meeting times, we got to work that out among us. I am teaching another class that meets on Wednesdays at this time, but there's only 2 members in that class, and we can meet someplace else some other time. So I want you all to think about, could you make a Monday and Wednesday meeting for this class? So I'll ask you about that next Monday and we'll settle on that. But I want you to be thinking about, we need at least 2.5 hours for this class for the weeks for this semester in order to get what you need to get out of this class and get what you need to have out of it. How I teach, I've suggested already that I like to have conversation. I'm happy for you to ask me questions and interrupt me. Mostly I'll be asking questions and asking you to think through things and talk about what you know or what you've read and sharing it around. Uh, the way people learn is you learn more about what you say or what you hear other students say than what you hear from the professor. My job is primarily to direct your learning, to engage you in thinking and seeking to learn and to find out information. Um, but you've got to be doing that digging and sharing among yourselves. And that'll make it a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. It'll also give me a sense about how much you're getting and are not getting, that I can up my game and or change the way we're working at it. So this will be a conversational class. The expectations of this class, I need everybody to be here every time there's a class meeting, and if not, you need to let me know. Um, uh, and then we can talk about what you missed and what I will record these class meetings as well. And if you need to miss one, um, you'll be able to pick up on it, and that's a way of dealing with it. But basically, it's the interaction and the connection with me and with each other that will really make the difference. The culture I'm looking for in this class is where we can respect each other, and if we have differences of opinion, we will listen respectfully about to them, but not get into big arguments about it, recognizing that, okay, those are differences of opinion. Um, I don't expect anybody to be necessarily corrected or converted while they're sitting in this class. I want you to be able to think for yourselves and talk about what you think and feel without having to worry about what other people are thinking and saying about you. Let me say a word about studying history. This is a class in history, and we'll be using historical methods as a way of understanding the past and what has happened. There are two specific clumps of stuff I want you to start thinking about and working on and having in your head as a result of this class, and then I'll ask you about in the midterm and in the final exam. The first one of those clumps of things is significant facts and people and trends in history, what happened in 1600 or 1800 or the year 2000 or whatever, and you begin to see how that has connections with what's happening now. The reason we study history is not simply to know facts, but to say, aha, I see a connection between what happened when the European countries started colonizing other countries like Africa and the Americas, and how that has impacted how their domination of those things has changed the world and affected the way we are today. All those kind of things. So people and facts and trends will be, and big events, those things will be, I'll be asking you to keep those things in your head. Not lots of them, but major ones. The second chunk of things I want you to keep in mind is to be critical, do critical thinking about history. What we don't usually realize is every book that's written, every article that's written in a newspaper, every professor that talks to you, every other student has two levels of what they're dealing with. Here's what they're saying is the truth. Here's what they're saying is the facts. Here's what Pin and Pin are saying as their understanding of what happened in church history in America. That's all out in the open, and it looks, you say, okay, I see it, I get it. And our job as students of this is to read and understand what they're saying. There is also what I call the tacit agenda. Every writer, every professor has an agenda that they don't necessarily talk about, that they believe this is why they're doing what they're doing. There's a point they want to get across to you. And historical writing all has some kind of a tacit or unspoken agenda. The example of that, the worst example of that is about 80-something% of the textbooks in America have a very biased understanding of slavery in the history of the United States. They downplay its brutality. They downplay its importance in the way that this country has been shaped, and they downplay how it has affected how we treat each other in this country. That's a tacit agenda in most of the history books we look at. I had to look very carefully to find history books that had a different agenda that you as Black students, Black citizens can really begin to understand. But each of those folks has a tacit agenda as well. And I'll be asking you to try to sniff those things out. So that's some stuff about how I teach, what I expect in this class. And so talk to me about how that's hitting you, questions you have, comments, anything you didn't understand, anything you want to argue with. We can have a good argument.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If we are unable to get the book, what is our next option? Because you said you only had so many and you have more students already than what was expected.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't finish that sentence. I have more on order. And they
Okay,
will be coming in probably by the end of this week,
okay,
if Amazon is true to their word. But before you need that book, there will be books for you. Thanks for checking that.
okay. Just wanted to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
good question. You caught something I didn't quite fill in. Other questions about this class, how we're teaching, what it's all about in the big picture? And how,
Dr. Sawyer,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
these books that are in the library, are they there as reference books that we're to one by one, or is there a collection of books that we're to check out? Are they individual books similar to the loaning books that we'll have to read that you mentioned?
Yeah, there are books that are on reserve at the library. You read, there's a section of that book you read for that particular week in the library. You can't check it out. So there's like only one copy of that. So throughout a week that it's due, you all have to work out a way of getting over there and reading it. That answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I have two. I'm sorry. I have two questions.
sure.
So, where did you say we could get the other book from again? And then with that second thing about the book checkout, I work until 5:30, and I know that they leave the building at 5 o'clock. So I don't know how I will be able to get there to get that reading of any sorts.
That's going to be the real issue, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes, I was like, I work 8:30 to 5:30 every day.
yeah.
So I was just trying to think of like, can we come up with some ways like outside of this to figure out how for me to get that reading of some sort?
Let's be thinking about that and ask me about it again next week. Let me mull on that a little bit. Thanks for letting me know that, Janet.
All right, no problem.
Excuse me, Dr. Sawyer, it's Walter.
Yes.
These books you're talking about, would they also be found in the public library?
Some of them maybe. Yeah,
Okay, because
I haven't checked those.
I know last semester, a couple of writings I had to do, I went to the public library site and was able to download them for about 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of them might also be available on a Kindle version.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Walter, I think with COVID, some libraries, not all are open.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
So that
I'm
might
not
be
sure of that.
catch-22.
Yeah, because I knew I had to go online and get it downloaded though.
Mhm.
And the
Okay.
only problem with that is because the one book I had downloaded, there was only one copy of it in the library. So everything I needed to do, I had to get out of it then
Right.
because it would be taken right back off the thing by somebody else. So I was just trying to figure that out if I could go on there and when it comes time for the books and just download them off her and get all the information I needed.
Yeah, you can on the class.
Can you give the book title, the titles?
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're on the class. They're on the syllabus.
Oh, okay,
The book.
okay.
And so yeah, you can check out and see if you can get a hold of them some other way. And if that's not working, we'll figure out something else. I just thought, oh, good, we could put them in the library, no problem. But if it's a problem, it's a problem, and I'll work on something. Thank you. There's about 6 of them, I think, on that list. Each of them with a chapter or so that has a specific piece of what I want us to talk about that's not in the pin book. And there's no point in buying that book for you. You're buying that book for that one chapter, you know. And copyright means I can't just copy it all for you all. So I haven't figured out a way of doing that. So we'll work on it, and maybe I can shift what I'm asking you to look at, and we'll figure something out. Flexibility. I've heard that's a good idea. Easier said than done. Other questions, comments?
No, sir. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
And there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah,
And there's usually alternatives. Here's my theological statement. Whenever you feel stuck and you don't have a choice between A and B, usually God will find a C or a D someplace, another choice.
Won't
There's always another option. I couldn't help it. I just had to do it. No, you didn't. You didn't listen when God said, how about that? Yeah, I know that's been working in my life all my life.
Yes.
I didn't realize it for a lot of my life, but there it was.
You got to just sometimes just sit still and be quiet.
Mhm. It might be a little whisper. It might be a nudge. It might be something somebody else says. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Malik, you were saying something?
Oh, no, I was just magnify the Lord. I'm sorry.
All right. So has anybody not, I know, Gary, you haven't gotten on Canvas yet, right?
Yeah, I'm on Canvas.
Okay, cool.
I
Anybody,
can get in.
and Kim, you're not on Canvas yet, right?
I just don't have all my classes in yet.
Yeah, I understand.
No, Miss Vaughn did call me and they're activating because I'm not programmed in Simmons system yet. So
Yeah.
hopefully by this evening I'll be able to do it.
Okay, great. Yeah.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, there's been lots of glitches. Shante Vaughn is the computer helper, and you can email her at svaughn@simmonscollegeky.edu. And she's also swamped this week, so it might take a minute. And the other good resource
Since last week.
that Ms. Keisha Barger, who's the administrative assistant and the vice president for academic affairs, Dr. Caldwell's office, and she knows a whole lot and knows what the resources are. If I run into a problem I don't know the answer to, I go to Ms. Keisha, and she's good. She's her email is T Barger. What I gave you around the book, T Barger at Simmons College. Her office is on the second floor of the
Stewart
Hall. Yeah. Good. That's the Canvas stuff. So here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do for next week. I want you to get yourselves on Canvas and get familiar with the whole thing. Read the syllabus, read, look through the class schedule, uh, get the pin book if you can get it next week. It's not absolutely essential because you won't be assigned it for about 3 or 4 weeks. We'll working on the other book situation, but we'll figure that one out. There's a required assignment that you need to do for this week. Let me go back to the under modules for this. For this week, the third thing under here is called required confirmation for attendance. All right. Since we're all online and we can't take attendance and guarantee for the accreditors and the financial people that have to do this, we have to have some proof that you were engaged in this class. And here's how we're going to do this. Somebody is giving me a lot of noise here. I'm going to.
Malik, could you please cut your mic off?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucretia. This is a little pretest on kind of finding out what you know. You're going to get 2 points for this just by turning it in, and I will look at that and see how much you already know. But we're going to learn a lot about this stuff, so that so you write in a Word document your answers to these 3 questions. Name your favorite person in the history of Black Christianity in America and why you like that person. 2, how you would describe the time of Jim Crow in American history. What was its results? That's a huge period of American history that we'll be talking about. And then your denomination or your church. We're going to study particular Black denominations as a big chunk of this semester. So your particular religious preference is going to be important for me to know and be able to work on. So that needs to be turned in by where is it? Oh yeah, by Friday, by 5 o'clock on Friday. And what you do is you take that your answer and you download it in that place of your assignment and send it, and then I'll get it and I'll grade it from there. If that doesn't work, you can just email it to me as well, but that's the best way of doing it.
Professor, Dr. Sawyer.
Yeah.
This is Malik. I'm so sorry. I worked ahead. I already finished mine. I sent mine in. So I did mine on Saturday. I'm so sorry. So
I'm sorry, say that again. I didn't understand.
I've already completed mine. I did that already.
Good. Terrific. That's no problem. I just needed to let you know, because they're going to be checking with me and saying, well, did these people show up?
Okay. I've already submitted mine. Okay. Thank you, Professor. Doctor. Thank you.
Other questions about that assignment or the other assignments for next week? Okay, so to summarize, we've started building a class common time together. This is great. Getting to know each other, being able to share and talk. I've gone over the basic ideas of what we're about, which I will continue to repeat and talk about in different ways, so you'll get a sense of it. What I want you to do for next week is to look at the syllabus, look at the class schedule, get really familiar with Canvas, get the book if you can, don't worry about it if you can't, and and do that required assignment. Y'all cool with that? Oh, and think about, can you meet on Wednesday at 1 o'clock as the second class meeting for this class for the rest of the semester? All right.
Yes, sir.
Works for me.
Works for me as well.
And you can email me if you have questions. Sorry. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Okay. Email me if you have questions. My phone number is on the syllabus as well. You can text me or call me. I am reachable. My job is to help you learn. That's my job.
That I do know. He is
All right.
very reachable.
Thank you. Good to be learning with you all. I'll talk to you
Yes, sir.
Monday, 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer. You have a
Thank you,
good
Doctor. Have a
You
good day.
too, Dr. Thank you, Dr.
Maddie,
Ford.
stay
Have a
safe and be
great day.
blessed.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Yes,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
They ain't got
Bye
no
now.
classes. They don't have no registration on me. You know, I got the one, but